Hi folks, in this Rambles with Robin and Ruby video, we drive south from Haines Junction, Yukon, along Highway 3 into British Columbia, where we hike part of the Teena Creek Trail. The weather in Haines Junction was good when we left, but the Teena Creek Trail area is 150 kilometers, or 93 miles south of Haines Junction. Little did we know that the Teena Creek weather was quite different. It was cloudy and rainy the day we visited. Nevertheless, we did the trip and had an interesting hike and saw many wildflowers. I begin this video by acknowledging that the Teena Creek area is in the homeland of the Nechako First Nation people. We are grateful for the privilege to have respectfully hiked over your beautiful homeland. Now, in this video, I include a number of those wildflowers visible along the trail. I know that wildflowers are not everyone's cup of tea, but they are lovely to see. Note, I am not a botanist, so the identifications I offer come from the expert opinions and identifications of my photos posted on iNaturalist. Join us as we hike part of the Teena Creek Trail in British Columbia, have a scary close encounter with a moose that dashed out in front of the car on our way down, and see some new wildflowers growing in an area whose weather is more like coast mountains weather compared to the weather in the interior of Yukon. Enjoy! As we continued south along Highway 3, we had a very close encounter with a moose that dashed out in front of the car. I never saw the moose standing by the roadside, yet it was obvious when you watched the video. To put it mildly, that was a sobering experience. After about a 2-hour drive, we approached the Teena Creek trailhead. The weather was rainy, but the scenery was lovely. There is no parking lot at this trail, so you park along the roadside. So it's July 2. We've driven down Highway 3 from Haines Junction, Yukon into British Columbia, and we're about to start the Teena Trail hike, which is somewhere up there. So a little foggy this morning. Actually, we're actually in the cloud, in the little drizzle, but temperature is about 9 degrees Celsius. So the first part of the trail is quite easy. It's an old road that more or less goes straight up, but lots of wildflowers here. There's some, I guess what I call mountain azalea. There's some yellow paintbrush. And a purple geranium in the background. Lots of willow and dwarf birch as the ground cover. And some lupin. So we're about halfway along the trail. It's quite easy walking. It's actually an old road. The clouds are still hanging in. Not sure whether we're going to get a clear view today of the Three Guardsman, which is over there under the cloud. And that's sort of southeast. So over towards Haines, Alaska. I see some sunshine over there, but it is nevertheless a lovely walk. It's designated as an alpine easy, and that it is. So we're walking, we've left the road and we're walking over the alpine tundra, and it's a little bit different. There's lots of frost, broken, what I would call granite rock, probably granodiorite for the geologists. There's Dryas octophilia. There's bog bilberry. Lots of lichen types. What else have I seen here? A little bit shy right now, but lots of mountain azalea. And here's a tiny little Labrador tea that I will stop to photograph. And there's it sounds like a killdeer that's been trying to lead us away from its nest. Anyway, we're sort of headed up towards the top of that rock scree. Again, from here you can see look like channels of rock ending in sort of a, I don't know, a rock glacier-like thing. Oh, it's lunchtime. We've sort of scrambled up or walked across the alpine tundra onto the foot or just at the base of a slope where there's lots of movement, mass movement here. You can see the stripes of vegetation separated by stripes of rock. Frost has sort of pushed that rock together. Some of it may be flowing, but it's offers a little bit of protection here, this little hill behind the wind, or away from the wind. We're not that much higher from the valley floor, and for example, the mountain azalea is certainly here. But it's just coming into bloom. The bog bilberry is up here as well. We're not seeing a lot of sign of the cloud lifting, so as we head towards that saddle, we'll see what happens. So we've scrambled up from the valley, and we're still sitting on acid rock, granodiorite. Many of the flowers are not yet blooming here, but there is snow, and I don't know if you can catch it. There's a distinct pink color to the snow. My recollection is that that's an algae or a bacteria or a bacterium that manages to survive in the snowpack, and in the spring when the snowmelt takes place, it gives the snow a pink color. But in addition to that, we're quite rocky ground. A lot of this, I suspect, is freeze-thaw, fractured rock. Still not clear to me in my head whether this was glaciated. I suspect it was at this elevation, and we can't see the peaks, the mountain peaks, because they're shrouded and cloaked in cloud, so It's hard to see. There are some glaciers in here, but it's hard to see where they are. So I'll just make my way up and join Libby on the top of the peak there. So we're just at the top of this particular peak, and there's kind of a sedge in front of me that's the leaves of which are just coated in moisture, just grabbing that moisture out of the cloud. It is indeed cloudy up here. In fact, the clouds have come in. Directly across are the guardmen, I think 3 guardmen, and you can't see a thing. You can vaguely see the Haines Highway down there. That's the road that joins up Haines Junction with Haines, Alaska. But we are now officially in cloud. So we're going to walk a little bit in that direction and then head down the slope back into the valley. And from there, down. And the wind is just starting to pick up as well, so maybe optimistically that will blow some of the cloud away. And somebody was asking about a tarn lake, and that's one in front of us. It's an alpine lake. This is probably a vernal lake, I suspect, being filled with snowpack melt. I suspect this one will disappear, so I suppose it may not be a true tarn lake. But nevertheless, it's a lake that's stranded up here in the alpine. It has a discharge at the far end. And as we walk around here, there's some ground squirrel holes. Some have clearly been dug up. Looks like that one's been dug up and torn open. This one looks like it's been dug up and torn open. And then there's quite a disturbed area here that's been dug up and torn open, as well as over there. Now, we have some debate about whether these are recent digs, but again, these are usually a sign of grizzly bear digging for a tasty morsel of ground squirrel. And here's another ground squirrel hole that looks like it was started but perhaps not completed. So what we see up here on this rocky substrate, there's crowberry, there's bilberry, there's the bilberry, there's a type of heather with the white flower, and there's some moss campion. Where's my foot? There's my foot. There's the moss campion. And there's some mountain or alpine azalea in flower. So we'll move on. Looks like the cloud's in here to stay. So we're nearly back at the vehicle, and that's almost a wrap for this one. The Tina hike. The country rock is acidic, which I guess is sort of a geologist's way of saying it has no ability to buffer acid. It looks like it's a granodiorite for the geology types out there. And there are some different flowers. The paintbrushes, there's at least 2 varieties, a yellow and a magenta colored paintbrush. Something that I call partridge foot, which I'm sure is the incorrect name, and I'll add a photo and a name, correct name. is different. I haven't seen that in the more northerly parts or easterly parts of Yukon. So, as Josine suggested, we're starting to see the influence of a coastal influence, I think is the way that she said it. So that sort of makes sense. We're seeing different plants here. Not only is the substrate different, but the climate is probably different. So it's an interesting hike. Tina is relatively easy. It's a long drive from Haines Junction, about 155 kilometers one way, but it's certainly well worth it. It's a little disappointing that the clouds refuse to lift, but such is life, and at least we didn't get sunburned, and we got to see a bunch of new stuff. So that's a wrap. Hope you enjoy. Bye for now.